Hello family, welcome and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing great. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the easiest and simplest way to make croissant bread, step-by-step tutorial on a stovetop. If you just found my channel today, welcome and welcome back to Beyond Aroma of Kenya, where I make simple and easy recipes perfect for ordinary families. Kindly make sure you subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss my new uploads. Let's get straight to today's video. I have an egg here. I'm going to break my egg to my silver bowl. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. For me, I'm using brown sugar. Right here, I have my vanilla essence. You can use the clear vanilla essence if you have it at home. It doesn't have to be this. And actually, vanilla essence is optional for this video. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 tablespoon in. And then right here, I have my instant yeast. I'm using this brand of instant yeast. So like I said in my other video, if you're not using instant yeast, if you're using the other yeast, you'll have to let this mixture that you're going to be making right here rest for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, before you add the flour in. Like I said before in the other video when I was making donuts, if you use the other yeast that needs to be rested, it actually always fails me, so I'd rather just use instant yeast. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 tablespoon in, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my whisk to mix this. Just make sure you mix this thoroughly. So when it starts to become bubbly, that's when you need to stop mixing. And then right here I have 200 ml of warm milk. You can actually just use milk at room temperature since we used instant yeast. I'm going to be preaching here again. If you're using the other yeast that needs to be rested, make sure your milk is warm. It's a must. So I'm going to go ahead and add my milk in. And then I'm going to mix this again. So for me, whether I use instant yeast or the other yeast, I just always use warm milk. Yeah. So here again, you have to mix until it starts to be bubbly. And then right here I have 2 cups of all-purpose wheat flour. So here again, if you're using bread flour, you are going to need just 145 ml of milk. Yeah, so for me, since I'm going to be using all-purpose wheat flour, yeah, it tends to be a little rough. So I needed to adjust my milk. So I'm going to go ahead and just shift my flour using a sieve. So for the flour, I'm just going to shift it bit by bit. Yeah. So you see, the rough flour is going to remain in your sieve. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my spoon here to mix. As you can see, my spoon is very strong. Yeah, you can use a spatula to mix this. Oh, actually I'm forgetting something. I'm forgetting salt. I'm sorry. For the salt, I'm going to go in with a 1/4 teaspoon. Yeah, actually the recipe requires 1/2 teaspoon, but since I'm going to be using margarine to knead my dough, as you all know, margarine is salty, so I'm not going to risk the salt. So that's why I added a quarter teaspoon. If you're using butter, just add a half a teaspoon as the recipe requires. Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my time to mix this up. So the reason why I love this spoon is because even if you try to press the dough like this, it won't break. So make sure you use one of your strongest spoon around if you don't have a spatula. As you can see, my dough is a little bit stiff, but that's because I've not kneaded it yet. Yeah. If you're using bread flour, just make sure you follow the instruction and use 145 ml of milk. So right here, I'm going to go in with my hand and just knead the remaining flour at the bottom of my silver bowl to the dough. Your dough is going to be medium soft. Yeah, but you don't have to worry about that. As you can see, this is how my dough looks. You see? Okay. And yes, for the recipe that I'm following, the dough was not super soft too. Yeah. There, here we go. So I'm now going to go ahead and transfer my dough to a board. I'm going to go ahead and lightly dust it. And then I'm going to transfer my dough to my pot. I'm going to go ahead and add in 2 tablespoons of margarine. So all I'm going to do after this is to knead my margarine into my dough. And yes, I'm going to take at least 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to be stretching this dough as I knead it. I'm going to pull up my sleeve. So after you add your margarine, this is going to be very messy. But don't worry about it. You have to do it. Actually, this is literally like making a dough for bread. Yeah. I've not yet dusted this dough, but it's starting to come along really well. Although I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm going to need a little bit flour for this. You can go in with at least 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons. Just make sure you don't overdo it until your dough is like super hard. You need to make a soft dough. Just add like a tablespoon just to get rid of the butter or margarine stickiness in the dough. So you can be able to handle the dough and knead it well and stretch it. Just try to. I feel like my dough is now squishy. You see that? And I've not yet rested it, so I'm happy. Okay, let me lightly dust my board and then I add my dough. I don't want it to stick here again. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is to cut my dough. And then I'm going to go ahead and transform my dough into roundels or into balls. And don't mind my hands. I know they are very messy, but I'm going to clean them after I'm done with this dough. So all you need is to balance this. You can cut it into 8 pieces and then you balance it into 10. If you do it a little bit tinier, you can have 12 pieces. That's the maximum. Yeah, so this is how the dough size looks over here, you guys. The next step is proofing our dough. So you're just going to rest your dough until it's double the size. So that will take you 30 to 45 minutes, or if you want to extend it to 1 hour, as you wish. So I have my tray over here. All I'm going to do is to lightly dust it. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my dough. So the dusting is going to prevent the dough from sticking in the tray. Yeah. There you go. I'm going to rest this at least for 1 hour. Since the weather here is now cold, I want them to double the size. My dough is now rested enough. I'm now going to go ahead and just roll out the dough. Just going to lightly dust my board, and then I'm going to lay my roundel, and then I'm just going to use my rolling pin to make it larger. And by that I mean to make it circular. Let me dust my plate over here, and then I'll transfer it here. So since I dusted this dough or this roundel, I'm just going to add it together with the first one that I rolled out. It's not going to stick to the other one. I hope so. So this is my last one, and my dough turned out really soft and squishy. Yeah. So this is the thickness. It's like a 1/4 inch. Don't make them so thin. I'm going to brush some oil to these sheets. Start them here. So for this part of the video, you can use unsalted butter or margarine. But for me, I want this to be a little crispy. So the cooking oil is going to do a wonderful job for that. Yeah, I'm going to lay my polythene to my plate over here. Let me try to dust it a little. I don't want to struggle to remove it. Okay. So for this I'm using a spoon. You can use those cute tiny little brushes if you have one at home. There you go. Another one comes on top of it. Okay, so here we go. This is my last one. So after this, and you have to do this part of the video, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on top so it doesn't stick to the polythene. And then I'm going to wrap it up. And then I don't want to add another polythene on top, so all I'm going to do is to flip it over like this after wrapping the other part up to cover that. And that is done. So all I'm going to do, I'm now going to go ahead and freeze this for at least 20 minutes. So the freezing part is actually meant to make the outside of this a little bit crispy when we are going to be baking it. So it's necessary. Okay, so for me, I place them in the upper part of the fridge, in the freezer, and I don't want them to over freeze. That will make them a little hard to roll out. So for me, I didn't wait for the 20 minutes exactly, maybe like 15 minutes. Yeah, so I'm now going to go ahead and double my working surface. I'm going to double 2 boards over here. I actually don't have a very large working surface, so that's why I'm going to double my board 1 and 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and dust my board again. So for this, it's just meant to roll out the dough, because we are going to be rolling the sheets until it's a very, very large circular kind of pancake. Yeah. I'm going to transfer these sheets over here. I'm going to pull up my sleeves. So right here again, it should be at least a 1/4 inch. Don't roll it out so much that it turns out super thin. Make sure you don't overdust your board. Yeah, just push it a little to this other side. I don't know if you can see clearly, but right now I have a very huge circular sheet here. Let me just try to make it clear so you can see what's going on here, you guys. I'm going to cut it into 12 pieces. In the middle, it goes along the way till the end. This is the thickness, you see? Kind of. I'm going to clear the space. I'll just double them over here. This is what I'm going to be working with. I'm going to start rolling it out. You're going to roll it out to something like this, a croissant. I hope the pronunciation is right, you guys. I'm an African. And then you're going to try to fold it around to make a moon shape kind of thing, you see? And here you go, you make a beautiful croissant. Okay, let me just work with these other ones. So to make it layered, just roll it out in tiny bits. Yeah, so that you get the layers in this. All the layers we can get, we want all that. I feel like I should fold this other part here in, you see, to make it a little neater. So this is what I have here, you guys, and I love this, you guys. Oh my god, look at the shapes. See that? There you go. Our croissant is ready. So right here I have an egg. I'm going to break it over here to my silver bowl. And then over here I have a tablespoon of milk at room temperature. I'm going to add it in, and then I'm just going to use my whisk here to mix this well. So if you don't eat eggs, you can just add some milk brush this with only milk. If you don't take milk, you do the same with the egg. And then I'm just going to go ahead and grease my baking mold. And for that, as usual, I'm just using my margarine. You can use cooking oil, you can use butter, as you wish. And then I have this piece of pepper. I'm going to add it in. For this pepper, I feel like I should just use oil, cooking oil. In a row. I just love the half moon shaping this so much. And yes, I'm going to leave a little bit more space between them because they are going to rise up. So this is what I have here, you see. Okay, so here's the thing, you guys. Since I'm going to be baking this on a stove top, I actually just decided to double this baking paper, you see that too. Yeah, so I'm just going to use my spoon as usual, except I'm going to try to make sure that I don't ruin the shape and I do it a little tidy. Yeah, I think that's the right word for it. Actually, if you decide you don't have to brush them with eggs and milk, you can use butter. And there you go. This is looking so good. Look at that. It's super moist. I'm going to go ahead and just proof it again for 2 to 3 hours apparently. So again, I'm going to use my white polythene here to cover it up nicely and neat. Since the weather is cold, it's a little bit tough for a dough to rise. So I'll just cover it up, but I'm going to use a light kitchen towel so it can get room to rise. I'll just repeat the process with this other mold. So you guys, it's over an hour now. I'm going to go ahead and remove my polythene over here. And here is how this ones look. As usual, I'm going to be baking this on a stove top. Yeah, I'm sorry about the lighting in that part of the video. So I'm going to estimate this for 20 to 25 minutes. So let me just go ahead and prepare my oven. So moving on, I have an heavy pan here. I already preheated it for 7 minutes. I don't want to put my mold directly to the pan. And then I'm now going to go ahead and add my mold. And then I'm going to use my pot here to just cover this up. So all I'm going to do is bake this for the first 20 minutes. I'm going to turn on my timer 20 or 15 minutes and you'll see. And yes, I'm using low heat. So the first 15 minutes are over. So for this mold, for the next 15 minutes that is remaining, I'm going to go ahead and finish up that on my charcoal stove. Yeah, I want the top of the croissant to also cook. So right here I have my charcoal stove. So I'm going to add my mold here again. I'm going to have to use a lid. Okay, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and add my charcoal on top of it. And then I'm just going to bake this for the rest of the 5 minutes that are remaining. I'll time it. Maybe I'll need to extend it to maybe 7 to 10 minutes. Provided the upper part of my croissant cooks and dries up, that is the main aim here. So if you're baking with a charcoal stove and you feel like the upper part of your croissant is not like cooked enough, you can go ahead and adjust charcoal on top of it. Yeah, and actually I've seen other tutorials where you fry this. You can just fry this up. You don't have to bake them if you don't want to. So what I'm going to do is to add them to my board here, and then I'm going to let them cool. Oh God, look at this. I don't know if I over baked them. My pan is like burnt. You can pop some margarine in the microwave for a few minutes and then brush it on so that they don't seem so dry. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I hope you like this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and kindly subscribe to my channel for more videos and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss my new uploads. Yeah, and check out my other videos in my channel. I know you're going to love a bunch of my videos in there. Yeah, and you can also share my YouTube link with your friends and family. See you in my next video. Bye. So you can see they're super squishy and crispy. They're very crispy. And I love the vanilla in it.